There's something nobody tells you about the men women can't stop thinking about. It's not their jawline, it's not their bank account, it's not even their confidence in the way most people describe confidence. It's something much quieter than that. It lives in the way they speak, specifically into phrases that almost every man either overuses, misuses, or never uses at all. And by the time this is over, you'll understand exactly why those phrases work and, more importantly, why they fail when men get even one small part of them wrong. I've watched how this plays out across hundreds of different dynamics between men and women, and the pattern is always the same. The men who struggle aren't lacking effort, they're lacking precision. They're saying too much of the wrong thing and none of the right thing, and the right thing, as it turns out, is hiding in plain sight. The first phrase is, I want, not I was thinking maybe, or we could potentially, or if you're not busy. I want, clean, direct, unapologetic, and I know it sounds almost offensively simple, but here's what that simplicity actually does inside a conversation. When a man says I want with real stillness behind it, he's doing something that triggers a very specific response in a woman's nervous system. He's removing all the noise. He's not floating a suggestion and waiting to see how she reacts before he commits. He's not hedging to protect his ego. He's standing fully behind his own desire and letting it exist without needing her approval first. That quality, that lack of permission seeking, is rarer than you think, and it reads as strength in a way that no amount of scripted confidence ever could. Think about the last time you asked a woman to do something and softened it down to nothing. I don't know, maybe we could hang out sometime if you want. You probably thought you were being easygoing. What she actually felt was a man who couldn't hold the weight of his own interest, and that quietly is exhausting to be around. Now replace that with, I want to take you to dinner Friday, I already know where, one sentence, no trailing off. No escape hatch built in. She doesn't have to carry the moment for you. You carried it yourself, and that shift from suggestion to statement is what makes the difference between a man she considers and a man she forgets. But here's where most men get this completely wrong. They learn this. They start using I want more deliberately. And then they run it into the ground. Every sentence becomes a declaration of their own desire. Every conversation starts to orbit around what they're looking for, what they need, what they want next. And slowly, without realizing it, they start to feel like a man who takes, a man who consumes, a man who sees the woman in front of him as something to acquire rather than someone to actually know. She feels that shift before she can name it, and the attraction that was building starts to quietly cool. This is why the second phrase exists, and this one is the piece most men never figure out. I appreciate, not you're gorgeous, not you're so fun to be around. Those are fine, they're just not rare. She's heard them. They land on the surface and slide off. I appreciate goes somewhere else entirely, because appreciation real. Appreciation requires that you actually paid attention. It means you notice something specific, the way she holds a position even when she's unsure of herself, the way she listens differently than most people, the way she pushed back on something you said instead of just agreeing to keep the peace. When you say I appreciate the way you think and you mean it, something happens that very few compliments produce. She feels seen, not looked at. Seen. There's a massive gap between those two things. Being looked at is about her surface. Being seen is about her interior. And when a man reaches that level, when he demonstrates that he was actually paying attention to who she is and not just what she looks like, it creates a connection that she will turn over in her mind long after the conversation ends. Most men stop at the physical. You go one layer deeper. That layer is where real attraction lives. So now you have both pieces. I want establishes your direction. It positions you as a man who moves forward instead of waiting for permission. I appreciate establishes your depth. It positions you as a man who actually sees her, not just one who wants something from her. Together, they create a combination that is almost impossible to resist. A man who pursues without making her feel like an object. A man who is direct without being hollow. She doesn't have to choose between feeling desired and feeling valued. You give her both at once, and this next part is the detail that almost no one talks about. None of it works without congruence. Congruence is when your words, your body, your voice, and the stillness behind your eyes are all saying the same thing at the same time. Because here's the reality, she is not just processing your words. She's processing everything. The speed of your speech, whether your eyes stay steady or drift, whether your shoulders are open or closed, whether the tone in your voice matches the confidence of your sentence. If you say, I want to take you to dinner with a voice that trails up at the end like a question, she doesn't hear certainty. She hears a man who isn't sure he has the right to want what he wants, and no matter how good the words are, the delivery tells the real story. So when you use these phrases, the physical side has to match, feet planted, eye contact held, not forced, voice at the same pace it was before, don't suddenly get louder or more deliberate. That's performance. Just stay steady, let the words land without reaching for her reaction. And when you say I appreciate, pause before the specific thing you're appreciating. That pause is what separates a man who means it from a man who rehearsed it. It signals that you actually had to think, that it came from somewhere real. One more thing, timing. These aren't filler phrases you scatter through every conversation. You save them for moments that matter, end of a real date. A conversation that went somewhere genuine, a moment when you actually felt something and you want her to know it. That's when you look at her and say, I want to do this again. I really appreciate the way tonight felt. Simple, specific, true. That moment becomes an anchor. Every time she thinks of you after that, she goes back to that feeling of being desired and valued at the same time by the same man. That's what you're building, not a technique, not a line, a pattern of communication that makes you feel different from every other man she talks to, because you are different, because you're the one who actually learned this, and more importantly, the one who's going to use it. The only question now is whether you'll go back to maybes, or whether you'll start speaking like a man who knows exactly what he wants and exactly who he's looking at.